Hey, how's it going, everybody? So today we're going to be streaming for a while. We're going to do one of those mega streams, I suppose, provided the internet stays up. It's been kind of stormy around here lately, but we'll see. So we're going to be working on Jessup King like usual, mostly breakdowns. So we're on the next batch of 3 pages. I've already finished breakdowns. Got a cat here. Zelda. Anyway, I did the breakdowns for the previous page. We're almost halfway done this page, and then we're gonna do one more page of breakdowns, and then we're gonna get into line art, and then you guys know how all that goes. Um, I don't think I have. So I mean, I know there's not too many people in the chat or in the stream right now, but for those of you watching, page 14 just went up today for Jessup King. It updates every Monday to Friday, and if you're interested in checking it out, that'd be cool. If you like it, feel free to subscribe to wherever you're checking it out at. You can go to the main website, jessupking.com. You can follow the comic on Webtoons, Tapastic, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm trying to post on Twitter as well, but it's not that cool. I'll be honest. So the reason I post to a bunch of those places is if there's a place that you're most comfortable for, please check it out there. On my main sites, like if you're already following just like the Jonathan Rector stuff, anywhere. I post the pages or process stuff. I post process stuff for sure, but completed pages like rarely. I just don't want to clog people's feeds up with the same repeated content, right? So if you're interested in the comic, there's tons of places to check it out. Go check it out there if you're interested. And if you like it, please consider letting your friends know about it. That'd be the greatest thing you could do for me, and that'd be awesome. And I appreciate that. So anyway, let's get into it. So we've got a little reference here. Just want to see where it's lining up with the screen. Just want enough on here so you guys can kind of see what's going on. But it's funny. I was doing I wrapped up 3 pages a couple days ago, and I was getting into the breakdowns as well. And I'll tell you right now, if you guys are fortunate enough to have 2 monitors, this software here is called PureRef. It's free. You can pay for it if you want. Just want to pay what you like, kind of things. Having that on a second monitor, I'm telling you, changes the game totally. Because like I can just have it open, and I don't have to worry about it. But when we're doing the stream, it's like you guys already know. Like when you're working usually with like a surface you're drawing on, real estate's pretty tough to get into anyway. Hey Monochrome, hey Nimrod, how you guys doing? All right, let's make some comics. So down here, I know this is going to be a little hard to see, but let me turn some of this off so you can kind of get an idea. I have to go up here. Basically, the big Pagargo beast that the whole clan's in right now. They've gone to see the king, and the king's like, all right, let me see the prisoners kind of thing. So, hey, Exilius, how are you as well? Did I say it right this time? Exilius. I think there was somebody else I kept adding words to. Anyway, so the Pagargo kind of like arches its back and pops them out. So we're gonna have like a really cool shot here. I have to go in. You can see I made a little note. I gotta add the costumes to the Doblins down here, and then the characters crash, and then it's sort of like them getting up and kind of talking a little bit like there. So there's not a lot of dialogue in this page, but I feel like in this last panel, I'm going to change up. It might be a little hard for you guys to see, but this is supposed to be Momo here, and since I just came out of that like mucus kind of sac, like a membrane of it, she's wiping it off, saying like this is gross, you know. And the other guys are getting up, but that's the only dialogue on this page. What I'm gonna do is change up this panel because it's similar to this one, which is fine. But I want to change it up so that I can add a little bit more dialogue. Because what I'm finding is, as I'm updating every Monday and Friday, just a page, that when there's very little dialogue, it's sort of just like here's a picture, right? And I'm trying, at least right now, to see if I can add just like a little bit more dialogue on pages, even if it's a fight, just so that people, I feel like they get their entertainment's worth just for that little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, going to see a picture and stuff is cool, but it's comics, right? So we're going to do that. Speaking of, we'll draw, I promise. I always feel like I got to get an updates with you guys. After this chapter's done, just to say it one more time, we're going to be changing up the format of Jessup King. We're going to be posting it in chapter batches. So I'm not going to be doing the Monday to Friday update anymore after this chapter's done. Still, like if you're reading it on the website or whatever, we're talking this isn't like 2 to 4 months out, so it's going to be a ways away. But we're going to do the chapter breakdown stuff. So it could be 5 pages, it could be 10, whatever, right? I don't want to go too crazy with them. But again, think of it like a TV show in scenes. So they get into a car, that's one chapter. They arrive, they get another chapter. Then you hear the bad guy talking about his plot, that's a chapter. That way, when people come, they get a story. And I think that's going to be a lot more appropriate for the web and all the digital stuff that I'm mostly posting this stuff to, okay? So in that case, and a lot of the dialogue will change as well. Anyway, okay, so we're going to change that. So in this panel, it's them crashing down. So all I did was just put a white piece of paper or a white layer down, change the opacity a little bit, and I'm just trying to clarify, I should say, some of these characters up here because this isn't, I mean, they're just blobs right now, right? So let's lower it a little bit. Just want to see the perspective that we have. Let's bring them down. Oh, whoop. So what are you guys up to today? You guys at work? Got the day off? What's going on with you guys? Oh, so have any of you guys been following, we talked about this last week as well, Discord? Some of you guys have brought it up. I've seen one person that I know of, I don't know if you go by the same name on here, so I won't say it, but there's cat hair, like, everywhere. I was having a cuddle sesh there with Zelda. She just, like, shedded like nobody's business. Man, it's, like, everywhere. It's like my glasses. And it just randomly show up. Anyway, if you guys don't know what Discord is, it's essentially like Skype meets like a forum in a way. So you can do voice chat, all that stuff. There's not too many people talking voice chat. It's meant for video games, but there's a webcomics one as well. I can link it to you guys if you guys are interested. And it's really cool just to go in there, and I mean, you can start discussions with people or just, you know, just a place to hang out. So I check it like a couple times a day just to see. And I mean, there's a lot of different skills, like quality, I suppose, without making that sound horrible, of artists there. So if you feel like maybe some people, they get intimidated by artists, right? Like just say you go into a place and all the artists are like better than you, so people get intimidated by that. But here I noticed that I would put it on along the lines of a lot of beginners and maybe some moderate there. There's a couple that stand out that are really nice, like, or not nice, really experienced, we'll say. But it's pretty chill. I mean, there's some cool stuff going in there. I'm just wondering if anybody's actually been checking it out. It's almost bedtime. Hey, Chet, how are you? Working like a sucker. You gotta make that cheese, man. We gotta fit Jessup somewhere here. I'm gonna put him in the background here because he's gonna be a lot bigger, but I still want to show the Pagargo back there. Lots of rocks for him. Hey, Jessup. What's up, big guy? Zelda took your spot. I know. Yeah. Zelda took your spot, big guy. Yeah, and if you guys had any questions or comments or anything, feel free. If you're new to the stream and stuff, never know who's popping in and popping out. So if you're new, this is your first stream or whatever, feel free. If you have any questions or need help with something, throw it out in the chat. I'll do my best to help you out. Alright, let's kind of see. Let me just step back here, see how this looks. I think what I might actually do, just to free up some real estate here, I'm going to get all these guys. Just move them over a bit. Just so we can get a little bit more space for that guy. Hey Dado, how's it going, man? Yeah, no problem. Good to have you. So I think, is this the, yeah, I'm going to move the grid up too so I can kind of see it a little bit better. I know this looks like a hot mess. Let's lower the opacity a bit. Or increase it, I should say. Alright, so I'll have all that. Most likely I'm going to be putting like some speed lines and stuff in here. One of the cool things when you do like a grid is you can use that grid to like, obviously not just show space, but in this case you can like put debris or chunks in that shape. So like, you know, like this square here, I could kind of like hack out like a chunk like this and like this. And what it does is it helps just show the depth with that grid that you've already established in there, you know. So we're going to definitely use that for some speed lines. I'm just going to have some ideas of it. And it's a little tricky when you got these characters are kind of coming up and over, that if you start doing stuff like this, like a speed line, it can look fine, but sometimes it can also like break that flow of the eye. So I don't want to go too crazy with that. I might just put some speed lines this way. Let's make a new layer because I would definitely want to have the monster maybe looking over at them. Let's pull up a reference. At the doctor's off. We've literally been everywhere now, man. Alright, so don't forget, let's put the costumes on these dudes too. Oh, we also talked about on the last stream. If you guys remember, a couple streams before that. So zip gun, I'll answer that in one quick second, and you as well, Nimrod. I didn't. Was in okay. We were talking a few maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks ago about. I'm not sure if I wanted Jessup to do any fighting just yet. There's a couple reasons for that. I'll try to do the quick version for you guys. I was talking to a friend of mine who, in my like, he took English and he's a writing. He knows his writing. He knows his shit inside and out. And we were kind of shooting back and forth about Jessup being the war machine, and he kind of comes in, and I like the idea of that giant that doesn't fight, but it has, is Superman kind of thing. Um, but the idea is if I could hold, like, if he could find a solution like throwing or restraining people without fighting, I like that angle. Um, and once he eventually would fight, it would be like holy shit moments. And I like that. I think that's a great storytelling thing. However, the opposite side was, but if I have him fighting, then I get to draw some really cool action scenes, right? So I was just that's where we left it, and I didn't know which way to decide to go on. And usually it's story first, always with comics, right? But last week, and I let you guys know a couple streams ago. The more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm not drawing what it is that I necessarily love drawing. Meaning, like I'm drawing all this stuff, which I love. I love all this stuff. But I love, and I still haven't felt like I've had an opportunity in any project I've had to draw some really, in my opinion, I don't know if they'll turn out that way, but I'll try, right? Some really cool fighting scenes, like I talk about Street Fighter all the time and influences of things I like and big anime action, that kind of stuff. But nothing, I've never had a chance to do that. So instead of waiting for like that big moment when it happens, I'd rather just go, you know what, screw it, let's go. But I want to play it off a little bit where it's like he doesn't like doing it, but he'll do it if he has to do it. So what I've started to do in the script anyway is there's a page. I'll show you guys as well because I shared it on Instagram. I was doing a little live stream. So if you're on there, you can follow me there. Sometimes I do these little streams on there as well. I'll show you. There's a scene that I purposely put in here. I'll save it. Give you guys a little spoiler for some pages coming up here. Is this panel right here, or this couple panels right here, right, where we have the bad guy telling him to work faster and smack gets whipped on the back, right, and he's sorry, and then just a shot at Jessup. And what I wanted, the main intent for this was to go, if he's got a pure enough reason, I suppose, for him to go back into, and we haven't talked too much about that in the story, but like his darker days of being a war machine, and now war machines, they're like pretty much destroyed on sight. There's none really left in the universe, right? So he likes to hide that because he feels remorseful for a lot of the things that he did during that time. So if he can hide it and not ever have to do anything like that again, that's great. But he has this uncontrolled power inside of him that he can protect people with, right? Classic superhero stuff. Anyway, so this is like a moment that I definitely wanted. There's a page that happens after this that definitely helps, but I thought this would be excuse enough for him to go, like, I feel zero pity for what I'm about to do to these guys, right? I'm not talking blood and guts. I'm just saying I want to get into drawing some action stuff. So for those of you that were interested anyway, where that discussion was going is, yes, we'll have definitely fighting in this issue, and pretty much going forward. And you know what the sad part is? Now that I've committed to the idea that he does punch things, it opens up a vast majority of new stories I could tell where I feel like I had to find, again, more story driven, creative ways to get out of it. Like, how do you get out of a fight scene? Or instead of a fight scene, how would you resolve it without that, right? And I love that angle. I really enjoy that. However, just to try to be as real to get the most excitement out of this, and to, kind of like a portfolio, show people what I feel like I'm currently able to do, and hopefully people tag along and enjoy it. It's to have those action scenes in there. So if you guys are looking forward to some of that, I get it, like talking heads is great. And the sad part is currently, right, since everything's like the page a day, and that's why we're going to be getting away from that, but everything's a page, sorry, not a page a day, 2 pages a week kind of update schedule, that things, they move a lot slower. So when it's just talking heads, that's great, but without the context, it's whatever, right? And I do feel, not everybody, but I do feel like when you have action scenes, you kind of get people to come back a little more. A little more? You get people interested a little more because they might see a new way to punch somebody, or wherever the story's going this week. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to you guys. Anyway, all right. Let me answer your guys' questions. Nimrod was saying, just saw tawny frogmouth owl on my balcony eating bugs. I don't even know what kind of owl that is. It's pretty sick though. John, where did you get the idea for this huge bug thing? Initially, so it's called a Pagargo. Doesn't even matter. But it's like a slug kind of thing. What the original idea was that when the main characters were going to get captured, it was by the Doblins still, these little bad guy creatures. They were still, and they always will be, the guys that are like the little shithead and shit disturbers of the universe. They just had like a legit cage in a carriage. So they would strap him in this. It was going to be like a cell. That way, I thought the other reason why was because the plot was still there, and you guys will see it. Kind of like, well, Jessup, you're this giant war machine. Why are you? Why you can't get captured? What are you doing? And there's a line in there that he says for that. But I thought it was extra funny if he was in a cell with the bars and he's like just massive thing, just kind of like hanging out of it, and you're like, you can just stand up and break out of it. This is stupid. That's what I wanted to have. But as I was drawing it. And really, it was this page here. I've shared this with you guys a whole bunch of times. But this page right here with like these little creatures running by. What this started to do was just go like, I need to push it a little further. Maybe is there something else you can do that can still be the same thing? So I decided to just make a creature with something on its back that would be like a way to capture them. Jessup could most likely still break through this stuff, right? But the plot that I originally had still worked with this. It still worked with the design. Everything was still the same. It still worked, which was great. But the thing is, once you add like character or creatures, they have to show emotion. They have to do some acting. They're a lot more enjoyable to see than an inanimate object like a cage. A cage is great. The princess is in a cage. But at the same time, I just wanted to expand the universe a little bit more by adding more creatures. So that's where this guy came in. As for designing him, it's a silhouette method that you guys have seen me do. I was just throwing down some quick shapes. I like a slug shape, and let's do like you can see right here for his head. It's like an X with like a little part at the top. That's all it is. There's nothing too unique about it, and that's pretty much it. Zipgun is asking, hi, welcome by the way. What's a good way to find balance between learning the fundamentals and experimenting for style? That's a good question. Would he be upset for doing so, having to fight? He'd be upset, but I think that's why I try to show like a slave being whipped and crying and stuff, right? Like an innocent being hurt. He'd be more upset with the fact that not that he'd have to save them or rescue them. He'd be upset that people would still be acting that way, and thus it makes him have to act almost in a similar manner. Kind of like the Batman thing, right? Where it's like, what was that line where he said, it was with a bad guy or something, I don't know. I'm going to butcher it. Along the lines of, if Batman kills a criminal, there's still the same amount of killers left in the world. Meaning him, right? And I like that analogy. It's really cool. So being upset at that reality, but he's a war machine, right? And he's able to do that. For better or for worse. Anyway, to answer your question, how do you find a good balance between learning fundamentals and experimenting for style? Outside of making time to do that, really it's a time thing, man. You got to figure out how much time you have in a day, how much time you're willing to make, what things you're willing to sacrifice to make up that time. If that means hanging out with friends, you don't do as much, can't play games, can't watch movies, all those sorts of things. There's ways when people say they don't have time. Unless you're working like 2 or 3 day jobs and a night job and you've got a full family and all that stuff where like things literally require your time, you can make time. Even if you work one job and you have a family, I'm not about to tell everybody what they can and can't do because I don't know everybody's situations in this. And it'd be ignorant to say that I do, right? However, it's up to you. You know what your life is like. And you know what you can get rid of and what you can't get rid of, right? So you have to find ways to make time. Now, as for your thing, what I always recommend people do, it's not directly related to your question, but I hope we can find some medium there, is the 80-20 rule. If you're fortunate enough to know that comics is something you want to do, or if you know you want to do illustration or covers or something, if you're fortunate enough to know what it is you want to do, 80% of your time, and that's not an exact science, just in your head, try to keep track of it or write it down how long you're spending on things. Or actually make a schedule for yourself is the best way to do it. But 80% of it should be doing it. So if you want to do comics, 80% of your time should be making comics. You should be making comics all the time. That 20% is your study. So when you're struggling with something like, I can't draw this head, or grab like a comic book or reference, look at reference, see the head, draw it, but know that when you put that hour a week or whatever you have for study, you make a little note. I used to keep little like I've got these next to me right here. Okay, they're just at the dollar store. They're like just throw away pieces of paper and a pen right there. So what I can do is I can quickly make a little note and then get back to working. So let's say when it comes to study, I can look and go like, shit, I need to learn perspective better. Well, now you know what to study. Okay. As for the style part, I think that's the same part as study. You have to figure out what it is. Like, so if you can't understand basic form like cylinders, cubes, that kind of stuff, triangles, and being able to manipulate them to the best of your ability in space at any angle, it doesn't really matter the style that you'll have. You still need to, that fundamental will always have to be worked on to bend a shape in space that your brain can understand, okay? Once you start getting along there, then I think it's kind of one of those things where you're like, man, my women's faces, they look like crap. So you got some choices. You can grab like Loomis, anatomy books, look at real life, or you can grab like your favorite artist comic and look at it. And studying it is different than just copying it. Why do they do the nose? Why do they do it this way, right? And breaking it down. That's the study time, okay? That's just my opinion on it. Hey, Felix, how you doing, man? Adrian, the same practice? You got it, man. Over time, you'll develop a shorthand, but you have to draw, draw, draw. You got it. And drawing's a lot, in my opinion, it's a lot of like just, it's guesswork a lot of the time, and it's always experimenting and finding new stuff. Right? Like here's a good example. I can show you right here. And I'm going to resort to some stuff. Is like this panel right here. Hey, Kevin, how's it going, man? Welcome, my man. So in this panel here, like I said, I want to have more speech bubbles, right? We're going to pull back a little bit from, I don't want it to be the same kind of shot. So this shot is pretty, I'm going to call it dynamic. It's not necessarily dynamic, but we're all focused down here on the Pagargo back here, and the characters are coming up and they're hitting the ground. So in this panel here, what I want to do is change it. What's an angle we can get? We've already got a worm's eye view down here, right? And actually, you know what? Give me 1 second here. Let me just try to find something here. So let's see if we can do something here. Sort of deviating for a quick sec. Just want to tilt this guy a little bit. Okay, so what I was trying to say was we still have like a worm's eye view here. And then the next one's a pretty straight on shot. So we got a couple that we can do. We can repeat a shot, which, if you got to do it, you got to do it. But sometimes you can dig a little deep and find something creative, right? Or we can do a shot we haven't done, which would be like either a close-up, a bird's eye view looking down at them. Not quite sure. So what I'm going to try to think of here, I was just trying to tilt it a little bit more there. So this bottom panel is, I want this one to be a lot of story, right? So I need to figure out like word balloons and stuff that we're going to put in here. And I know I have Momo just saying this is gross, but I still want to show the characters getting up as well. Maybe we just elevate them off the, I don't know. Alright. I know I have like some speech bubbles here or something. This is gross. Maybe somebody says something over here. Let's try something. We can just close up a little bit. Just to show them kind of getting up, So we got Jessup back here. Maybe one of them's already up over here. this guy getting up to? So it's pretty much the same panel. Maybe what we will do is, because I don't like ever having the same vanishing point on the same side. Say we're going on the left. Maybe we can remove some of that. Maybe over to Momo being kind of like where the perspective point is instead. It just makes it so that it looks different and it's visually different. Because sometimes people, they struggle with comics. I don't know if you guys have anybody in your family, like a mom or a dad or somebody, or maybe yourself. You look at comics and sometimes it's like they don't know where to go next. And I feel when you have a lot of repeating stuff, it gets crazy. It makes it harder for that. I think people that are like a little bit more familiar with reading comics, they know what's up. But sometimes people don't. So one thing that I try to do is never make something the same. In the unless it's like you want it for like a story beat, right? Like that classic water drop from a faucet thing where you want to show the progression of time. That's not exactly what I'm trying to do here. So we have a vanishing point here, and then we move the vanishing point over here. It kind of changes the angle a bit. So like Jessup would probably be this way. We're going to clean this up a little bit. But this does change forms, right? Because the camera's now moved over here. So let's clean this up here. Nimrod saying, what he meant, oh, okay, about Jessup hating about fighting. Would he have remorse? Oh, would it eat at Jessup after the fact? I don't know. I think he doesn't like doing it that kind of thing, period. So normally, in my mind, he would try to always subdue a situation, but if it's like there's no other outcome, then he'll take care of it and he'll do it. He knows he has to do it, but it's not like it won't keep him. Well, maybe it would keep him up at night. He's a machine, so does he sleep? I don't know. Thanks. I'll work on managing my time better. Yeah, hey, no problem, my man. One thing, I'll show you this. I don't know if you're still in the chat or not, but I'll show everybody else. I have a video on this. You can check it out. It's called there's the Pomodoro technique, but the main thing that I did is I did one that was a little bit more appropriate for comics, and I'll use that for this analogy here. Okay, so the first thing you do when you get home, and let's assume you have a make this work for whatever your time is. So if you're a student, maybe you go to school, then you come home for a little bit, then you go to work, and then you kind of stay up a little bit after night or after you get home, or maybe you don't work till the afternoon, so you have the whole morning to do whatever you want to do. Don't sleep in. That's the worst thing you could do, right? But some people are night owls because that's the way your life works. So do your thing. But I'm going to go at this like a basic thing and then apply it to yours. So let's just say you wake up at 9, you go to work at 5, and you come home, right? So you get home at 5:30. So this is what I have done for a very long time. So what I do is I just have like, it's basically one of these too. One of these little sheets. And I'll just write at the top, 5:30 or... Sorry, I get home at 5. I know I'm going to make dinner. So let's just say, let's go 6:30. 6:30 is my start time. And what's cool about this is you get to make your day. At least you're trying. If somebody were to call and say there's an emergency, then you can go do that. But you're at least, this is kind of like budgeting money. You're making the effort to do it, which does a lot of neurological things to trigger stuff to go, I'm actively trying to get control of my stuff. I'm getting my shit together here, okay? And you'll fall off the wagon, but just please keep coming back to this sort of thing. This, for me, has helped big time. So I get home at 5. I'm like, I still got to make dinner because I know tonight I'm going to draw. It's going to be great. I'm going to give myself an hour and a half to cook, enjoy the meal, maybe wash up some dishes so they don't get, you know how it goes, right? So, Ray, 6:32, how long do I want to work tonight? Maybe I'd like to play some Street Fighter, maybe I'd like to read a book, go for a walk, I got the gym or something. Maybe I just want to go to bed early tonight, something, right? On a normal night, let's just say I'm going to bed at 10, okay? So 6:30 to 10. And what that equals is, so how Pomodoros work, right, is it's just a timer, and you set your timer for 25 minutes, okay? Now, when that timer goes down, put it on your phone, whatever. When that goes out, you take a 5-minute break, meaning if you can, get away from your computer, look outside, stare at a wall, grab a comic book, look at something, get your mind off of what you're doing. Okay, I know a lot of people, like artists, they like to work in flow states, but if you're struggling with time, like even getting going, this will get you there. Don't even worry about it, okay? So take this. All of this right here, that 25 minute plus that minute equals 1 Pomodoro, okay? So or POM. I like to think of it kind of like in half-hour chunks. So if I look at 6:30 to 10, what do we got? 6:30, 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, 10. What is that? Sorry, fucked up. 6:30, 7, 8, 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, 10. Yeah, so it's 7 Pomodoros, okay? So what I do here is I just go, what am I doing tonight? If this was specifically for, let's just say comics, and I'm going to keep it basic. You're going to go, I've got my comic I want to work on tonight. I've got study I would like to work on tonight. And you know what? I got some chores I got to do because I'm a slob. Right? So those are the main things you have to do tonight. Don't make a gigantic list. Sometimes you have to, and you can bunch them in, and you look at like stuff you got to do, whatever, right? So these Pomodoros, this is what I do, just because it's fun. I'll draw 7 circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which represents the Pomodoros. And all I'm doing now is plugging them in. So remember that 80-20 rule. Let's just get off the top. Let's say for half hour, I'll be able to get all my chores done. So I'll scratch that off and I'll put it here. Do you see what we're doing? So the study, I'm going to put in a half hour of study tonight. Cool. So now that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's my night. So 6:30 gets around there. I sit there, set the timer. When it's done, knock it off. Go to the next one. Knock it off. And you will be surprised at how much you'll gain just from doing this. If you're disciplined enough to just have the timer go, put some music on, put a podcast on, something, and just get in. Right? And like I'm saying, look at that. Check this out. That was just till 10. Let's say you don't go to bed till 11, 11:30. If I wanted to, that gave you an extra hour that you could play your Street Fighter or whatever you want to do for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Go to bed early. Do whatever you want. Hang out with a friend for an hour. I know it's not a lot, but I'm hoping what this shows you is how easily you can get control of your time and actually make steps. Now, this is what? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what? 1 hour, 2. That's friggin' 2.5 hours on your comic. And all of it at the end of it might come out like garbage too. But at least you tried, And then tomorrow it'll get better. So anyway, hope that helps. All right, we got to make our grid. So remember, I'm going to put it at Momo's face here. And we're going to tilt the horizon. Yeah, see you later, Adrian. Thanks for popping in. I don't even know if you're still here or not. I always get these messages late. Hey, Europa, how you doing? And actually, you know what? I think I might actually get some Pomodoro action going too. Because I know we're going to be doing like some long ass streaming today. Do I have... I do. Let me make 1 second here, guys. Let's see if we can do this. Add a scene. Or no, we don't need a scene. We need a Pomodoro break. That's what it is. So add text. We'll make it white. Yep. And red. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. I'm just getting this prepared for when we do this. I'll put it right there. Oh, you can use stroke, bold, italic. Cool. Okay, so have that, and let me. I think you can duplicate this, can't you? Maybe not. Okay. Just bear with me, guys. All right. All right, so actually, let me get the timer going, as a matter of fact. Ah, that good old sound. All right, so we want her going like, let's get our mirror. try to try to draw. Like I'm looking in the mirror here. I don't know if you guys do this. Sometimes you get like a what's it called? I hope you guys do this. Get a mirror so you can look at yourself and make stupid faces. Try to get posing and stuff. Anyway, so I was like shooting my lips at like a like you're spitting out like ugh all this crap, right? And I'm looking at it and it's like it looks like my lips are all like I just get beat the hell up. It's funny. Get some of them speed lines. Looks like two. This is grass. There's an OBS timer app. Is that true? Wait, how do you get apps? You're blowing my mind. I didn't know there was apps. How do you get apps? Zipgun, I'll try to set up a what? A palm. Oh, that look like porn. POM when you're. Anyway, sorry. I'll set up a palm schedule. That's what it's like a porn schedule. Jesus. At least want to do 4 hours of drawing a day. I'm still getting used to the drawing tablet. Okay, perfect, man. I'll tell you right now. If you're putting in 4 hours a day trying to learn a tablet, you'll find out soon. If it's working for you, how you can manipulate the thing to get it to work, or I realize I'm supposed to be working now because I got the timer going. You need to basically really focus, but you'll find like some people they don't like no matter how much effort and work you put into using a tablet, it's just not for them. So you'll at least find that out, right? But regardless, you'll get better at it, which is great. And if you want to put in 4 hours, kudos, man. You'll get some serious art gains doing that. John, I was talking to a friend about the Marvel method and how it works, how it was set up to the artist to make up, the bulk of the idea and what goes on the page. Okay, does you being the writer and the artist work with your creativity and page flow? Oh, 100%, yeah, because it's up to me, right? Like I get to choose all the failures and all the successes are 100% my fault in that case, right? I will say when I've worked on scripts with people, it's a different workflow and there's nothing wrong with it. I do think when you work on scripts from other people, they've got their vision in their head. They spent the time to try to figure all that out, and either it works or it doesn't. But when the one thing it does do, or I found that it did do for me, is it definitely made me go, okay, well, this is what I have to draw today, And then the main thing that's up to me is not just what I have to draw, but like, so how am I going to best illustrate what they were trying to say, and what do I need to change because maybe what they thought in their head just doesn't really work when you get to drawing it, right? So there's a lot of pluses and minuses, but with the Marvel method for sure, even if you got like another writer, like, and you're not the one writing, the Marvel method's awesome. I know it's not for everybody, but what's really cool about it is like think of this as a writer. As a writer, you get to just go, okay, I'm going to make a 22-page comic, we'll say, right? And it's like a paragraph, or maybe it's a few paragraphs. Like And you can have little pieces of dialogue. It could be a whole page. It could be 2 pages of just sort of like prose, or like as you're reading it. Like it could say like page 1, fight scene between hero and bad guy. Page 2, fight scene between blah blah blah. Same fight, except now the bad guy has the money from the bank and they're about to get away. Page 3, the bad guy's gotten away after a quick little the wrap up of a fight. So it's up to you as the artist now. You get 3 pages to tell a fight, but the story you have to tell is him robbing the bank in that fight. And that opens up a whole nother level of like creativity. Like that's what I like about it. But when you work from a script from somebody else, I don't want to say that you're not creative at all, because that's a total lie. But a lot of the work has been done for you. You know, like all of that sort of storytelling has been done for you. So all you have to worry about is making it as clear, as crystal clear as possible, and that's cool too. That's cool too. Um, But and the one, I guess, for a negative, I don't want to just totally sell it as like this is the best. If you're working on everything yourself, like I am, uh, is that sometimes like there's nobody really to hold me accountable. Like, like, hey man, you've only been drawing 3 panels a page for like the last 10 pages. Why don't you add some more panels in there, just because you don't want to draw more? It'll help the story out. There's nobody there telling me that to hold me accountable for that kind of thing, right? So you kind of have to be your own judge in a lot of stuff. But I do think a lot of artists, when they're told just do what you want, it's a good feeling. And it's good to know who you are, because some people, when that gets told to them, it's too much pressure. They don't want that. They just want to illustrate what you want them to, right? And it's up to you to figure out and to find, really. I would recommend doing both, but you got to find what kind of artist you are. And there's no shame in one or the other. You're an artist, so you're already amazing. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Am I being clear on that? Am I? It's like when I heard somebody say like everybody has to, if you want to work for yourself, not everybody likes to work for themselves, right? That's a lot of work. You got to be your manager, your time coach. You got to be everything. You got to do all those things. And a lot of people, they're not cut out for that. They just like to show up, punch in, do their time. I compare it to this actually. Like there's a lot of my friends and people I grew up with and people I know, they go to work, they come home and they just relax. And they can't wait for the weekend because they don't got to go up and work for somebody or do something they don't necessarily enjoy. They're just doing it for a paycheck, right? I can't be that person. Like I always would hate that. I need a little bit more. I would, if it was up to me, I would love. Well, it is up to me, but I'm just too chicken shit to go through with it. But if I could go every day, I wake up, I'm doing what I want to do. If I'm getting client work, it's the work that I like. I know I'm making the time to do that. Structure my life around freelance work, whether it's Marvel, whether it's my own stuff, that kind of thing, right? Not everybody likes doing that, and that's okay. I do believe the sooner you figure out what kind of person you are, if you like going and somebody telling you what to do, I'm not saying work at a thing, but if you like working on comics that somebody else writes and you just illustrate, then you know that and you can start structuring your life around those things and you get some huge gains that way. It's not like you're not struggling all the time with trying to figure out, like on this journey of I don't know what makes me happy while I'm drawing stuff. Countdown plugin 1.0, can't post a link. Okay, thanks man. Let me just copy that. Let's take a quick search. Countdown plugin. You know what the sad part is here? All right, let's just add that to Todoist. I didn't even know there was plugins for OBS. So I have no idea what this opens up. What other cool shit's out there? So John, forget countdown time 1.0. It stops the stream on desired time. Oh. Snaz. All right, well, good looking out, man. 100% clear. Cool. All right, so you guys see how we changed the angle here? Now Jessup, it's sort of like we're looking at this side of him going that way, right? Whereas in this one, it's a lot. In the previous panel, it's a lot more. Everything's focused on the monster in the background. So we can probably have Jessup say something here. Not a lot of text, but enough. Also, maybe we could put up here. We can put like oomph. Here and here, smack. I'm putting lame stuff. Bang, smack, oomph. We'll make up some onomatopoeias for that when we get to the writing. But I guess that's one way of making it so if you don't have dialogue on the page, you can just add sound effects. All right, we need the little goblin dude. Doblin, sorry, got it screwed up. Maybe he's got like his head on his hand on his head, like he's got a big goose egg. Ouch. Put some more rocks and stuff. Remember what I said in the previous panel? All these perspective grids, we can like use them to make like chunks in the ground, and it helps with the perspective, because the grids aren't always going to be there, right? And who are we missing here? Oh, right, some Boca. So let's put her over here. How's her hairstyle go? She's got the scar on her face. I'll put some rocks in the background here. I don't want to put the Picargo back there. I know he should be, but maybe we can put a silhouette shape of him or something. Okay, let's turn off that. Turn off that. And let's turn off the thumbnail, just so we can kind of see what's going on here. Cool. One more second. Let's put the costumes on these guys. Little belt. Is that it? Oh, let's put. Cool. Alright, so that page is done. Is it confusing enough for you guys to not know what the hell's going on? Okay, and this next page I think is. Get some more of the Wacom King. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Let me check here. I just want to make sure this one was done too. Yeah, okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that too. So check this out. I talked about this on the Instagram stream as well. Is one of the things I would like to do. I didn't get a chance to do it because by the time I was able to draw, it was at night, and I didn't have the proper setup because I wanted to stream it. So I'm not 100% sure yet. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one till I'm gonna do the other two pages of line art first. But so what I decided to do anyway. Here, let me apologize for my face. I haven't shaved and all that crap. I'm just joking. Okay, so check this out. So what I did was this right here is what the comic book page would be on, right? It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, printer paper, nothing fancy. That's the size that the pages are on. But what I would like to do from time to time is have a couple of these pages, print them out, and do it traditional, so that I could sell it, or it gets away from the computer sometimes, I just thought that I'd get the setup all right with some lights and stuff so that I can stream it and you guys can kind of see too. Or maybe not, just so I can do it on my own, just to get away, put the music in and get old school with pens and stuff. But anyway, so this was one of the previous pages I just printed out. And again, I talked about this before. Get your guys', if you want to try doing digital, like breakdowns and stuff, like what you see on the page, and then printing them out and light boxing it and kind of going from there. I highly recommend you can get like a toner printer that just prints black and white, and toner will last you so much longer than like ink, like or not ink. I don't even know what the hell they are. It's like inkjets and stuff like that. You don't need it. If you just have black and white documents or shades of gray, it works great. But anyway, so I printed out what this would look like if this was like printed out on a magazine or something like that. And it looks awesome. It's great. But the thing is, I don't even know if you can see it. Right here on his thumb. Let me just zoom in a little bit there. The hatch marks you can see, there's like a cluster of them right at the bottom. Where am I at? Right there. That's what I used. I grabbed a Micron pen or my Stedler ones, and I started making lines to see if I could mimic the lines that I was already getting digital. Because if I can do that, then that means I can do it on paper, scan it in, and do all that stuff, right? So I printed this out as a guide to sort of like use my inking tools next to see how close we can get there. So then I printed this out, and this, again, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but this is the breakdowns that you can see on the page. I just lowered the transparency there and printed it out. So what I would do from here is just grab Bristol, grab our Huion light pad or whatever, right? Light box, whatever you got, put a piece of Bristol over this, and just do the line art, which we're going to be doing now for the other two pages, and then ink it. So I think what I'm going to try to do, the reason why I stopped again is because I'd like to stream it, but I don't know, I don't think I have this set up just for that just yet. So we'll see, but this is what I'm thinking. We're going to try just, mixing up the mediums just to keep it fresh, sitting at the computer all the time sucks. So sometimes it's nice to get down and, sit over on the art. You can see it over there, right there, right? It's lonely. It needs somebody to sit there. So I might have to be that person in a little bit. So we'll see. But anyway, all right, and I'll let you guys know obviously how that goes, all that fun stuff. So this one we have to work on too. I guess I thought I had prepared this already. Guess not. All right, let's erase all this. John, I watched The Agony in Ecstasy a few months back. Really spoke to me as an artist and boss woes. Poor Michelangelo, not the Ninja Pope, who was a jerk. Good film. I haven't seen that movie. I haven't even heard of it. What is it about? Michelangelo, you're saying? Alright, so in this page we're going to have walls of text, which everybody hates. So we'll have one here, one here. Looks like I have a little something there. What's the flow we're doing here? I don't know. I don't know. I think that might be a little overkill. Because here I want it's supposed to be just a Doblin King looking boss. All right, so I've got that. We're gonna have to redo this whole thing. So let's kind of get his head going here. Put on a little bit of a tilt. We've got the big upper bodies, but it's not. Jowls. Maybe we're gonna break the panels with this. Let's try it. You can always erase it if it doesn't look good, right? Alright, so he's gonna have his little mouthpiece here, his nose, his eyes. We'll figure the rest out. So I wanted to have the scepter. Remember, it's like this like This really cute design because it's not his, it's hers, but he has it. La, 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 la. Europa. That's what I do. Only I use a brush. Winsor Newton Series 7. So far, there's all cool, man. Good. Oh, and I bet the line quality is probably real slick too. There's like no erasing you got to do usually. Charlton Heston played Michelangelo. That's funny. Okay, so initially I had him where it's kind of like he's leaning on the scepter, like looking down, like, "Oh, you did," like show it to me. But the scepter's not long enough. The scepter doesn't hit the ground. So I'm gonna have him just hold it, I guess. Put like a big old hand here. And I want to show it hovering because it's like one of the cool things. I might have to shrink it here a little bit, but so we'll do that if we bring it down. I don't want it to cover his mouth, that's the thing. So we'll do it like that. Let's erase all this crap. Alright. So let's draw it again, but we'll add like some of the important detail. So he's also got like these, it's like beard spikes. It's going to get a little confusing here, so I'll just insinuate where they are. Because he's still got like this puffy, it almost looks like a jester thing that goes around his neck. So we'll have to figure out a way to put that in there too. But let's get his nose in here. Let's flip it. Take a look. I guess even the spikes over here would come out. Alright, so we might have a little bit of a problem. Let's see if we can creatively get around it. So, the problem I'm talking about is if I want to have him spilling out into the panels, which I think would look really cool, is that he's got big ears. And the ears would go out something like that. And what's in this panel might work. It's not too busy, but what I'm going to have to do is just sort of ad lib this here and just sort of like tilt it up a little bit. So it's not perfect, but might be enough that people wouldn't really notice too much. And he's got the scar. Goes across like that. Hey Jax, how's it going? Welcome back, my man. I'm gonna leave his costume till at the end. Alright, so that's one knuckle, another knuckle. Okay. You all know what time that is. Okay, so I'll be back in 5 minutes. Uh, bum, 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 bum. Let's just see if we get this to work right. So we go BRB and 5 minutes. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. let's get back to it. Okay, let's get this cowl thing. Okay, let's turn that off. Alright, so we're gonna have blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Text, 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 text. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate that, and actually, there's no point. Talking to myself now. Okay, so let's turn this off. We're not gonna need these layers. You work for me now. What were we doing on this page? Right. Okay. So this one, this shot, it's kind of similar to this one. Actually, you know what I wonder? Just so that this is like ridiculously clear. I know he's looking into the page, which is probably what we should do. I just want to try flipping them around here. That's not going to work. See, like, well, actually, fuck. See, okay. Couple things. This is the beautiful part of, hey, how's it going? Of comics, right? So, the original way we have it, we have the Goblin King looking into the page, which is what you want. However, he's always been on the left, going to the right. Now I'm switching him to the right, and you see, just like I like to try to think of it always when you're. It's like a movie. You got characters on one side, characters on the other side, and no matter where the camera goes, they always stay on that so that people know what's going on here, right? But since from this panel to this panel, they're both looking in the one direction. I kind of have to make a choice. Either I go this way, right? Because those characters are on the left here. Even on this page, if you look, the bad guy, he's on the left turning over, so he's always on the right-hand side here, right? So when we get to this page, he should still be on the right-hand side, but we lose out on the fact that he's spilling over into the rest of the panels, which would probably look pretty cool. But that's the way she goes, that's the way she goes, right? Whatever the story needs, the story gets. So I guess we're just going to go that way. Let's erase all this. Okay. Now this one we get a really cool shot. Finally get like some cape blowing in the wind kind of stuff. chair here. But I think we're going to use our perspective brush. Try to get some sort of perspective going here. Just helps your eye sometimes, for me anyway, it helps me see things a little different when you've got a grid instead of everything being so flat. So I want us looking up at them. Maybe we go like here, and then this one we can kind of go way down here. Yeah, I like that. That way we're still, yeah, that works. Alright. So let's see what we can do here. Actually, you know what? You guys are talking about, thanks, Nimrod. You're talking about framed ink. Great book. Let's try this. What I was going to do is I was going to like start adding structure to this, but it's been a little while. Let's see if we can get a little bit more power out of this by using the silhouettes, right? Quickly get in his body, his hips. So I want this to be pretty dynamic. He's pointing the staff. Let's do it the old-fashioned way, see what we get out of that. Okay, see you later, Nimrod. Thanks for popping in, my man. Okay, what the fuck is going on here? So he's there, and he's twisting. Hey, no problem, man. Enjoy sleep time. Okay, I don't know. Take a look at his anatomy here. I think it's getting a little out of whack. So his head's got to be a lot bigger. Oops. His head's like way bigger than it's. Oh, I had it so small. Okay, so we'll go here. So his arms, when they come down, so his arms got to be bigger too. It's weird. Like every time I draw these guys, I always feel like I default to like human anatomy, which I think a lot of people do when you're doing like creature design. And if it wasn't for just having this reference there, like it just as a quick little guide to look over, like it's funny how much like these guys they're humanoid in a lot of ways, right? But like I said, they got the giant head. It's like a big torso, and then everything gets small, and they got like the big forearms and stuff. Things can get away from me pretty quick, and then they stop looking like what they're supposed to look like. Right, like even this, some like Mega Man legs. So get like the big legs here. Then we can adjust this. So get like a knee. Let's have him screaming. And we'll fix some of that up there too. We get the cape going that way. We get like some energy coming out of this thing too. He's getting ready to shoot or something. Just load this whole page up with story. So cool. And then we can also see this is this is the lazy part right here. I'll be straight with you guys. So since Nimrod asked before about the Marvel method and like how I'm incorporating that, this right here is the dangerous part where I have no editor to keep me in check. I might show a friend or two after the fact, not really here. You kind of have to make the decisions on your own. I will say the fact that I'm even having this reaction means that I should go ahead and do this. What I'm saying is, do you see in my sketch here, I have like these little shapes. These are supposed to be other Doblins that were previously here. None were around him, mind you. But I figure there's been a little bit of passage of time. Maybe they've walked up his little like throne kind of thing, right? So the battle I'm having, or the decision I'm trying to make, is if I don't draw them at all, it's fine. Nobody's gonna know, and nobody's gonna care, to be honest. The other side of me is saying, like, the editorial side is, if I had a script, is like, put as much art in there as possible. I find like whenever you work with another writer, they're always like, all the panels you gave me is just literally a talking head, and the colorist is going to put like a color fill behind me. I want art in every panel because it looks better, right? Especially when there's no speech bubbles there. The other side of me is like, but if I don't draw it, I can get this page done quicker, which is great for deadlines. You know, you get more work, you get more done quicker, then it doesn't even matter. So I don't know, because the rest of these pages or panels are just like characters as well. I think we're gonna do it, but I just wanted to voice that out because I think a lot of people have that problem too. Did I solve the problem of King Doblin's feet? I'm not sure. This is him here. I ended up going with, if this was the question you're kind of asking, I forget the context, but I removed any kind of decorations from his arms and legs. I kept everything to the face and just added like a cape and like this really weird looking cowl to him. That was about it. In a Sagat, anybody like Street Fighter, he's got like the big slash across his chest, just for speed's sake. Theoretically, it would probably be in the better interest to add more decorations to stuff since he's like the king. But in a lot of times for comics, this is an excuse, but you don't always have to treat it as that. But it's great to keep things simple, especially if you're doing it for comics, because you have to draw stuff over and over again, and it can suck. It can suck a lot. All right, let's draw these guys on a separate layer. That way we can move them around. Oh, and some of the pages coming up, we finally get to see these guys use their guns, which is going to be pretty cool too. I don't know why the hell this guy's standing like a monkey, but might be fucking kind of cool. What if we put him over here? Almost looks like a pet. We can put another one right here, another head. And we'll put a little costumes on them now. Gremlins mixed with Turian? Actually, yeah, they kind of do feel like that, eh? Oh, it's the Turian, yeah, from the lips. You're right. My subconscious is swiping. It's no good. Alright, now we get the big honcho. Try to get a lot of energy out of this here. Alright. It's tough, man. I'll be honest with you guys. Drawing like costume details with like this big fat brush. I could totally just not, like reduce the size of it, but I don't know if you guys ever feel like this, but sometimes you feel like you want to go to something that's a lot more comfortable right away. So in this case, like just I don't want to say I'm struggling, but I would like to go to a smaller brush for these, because I feel like I'm just working in generalities with this big brush. Whereas if I trimmed it down and I went with the smaller one, I could get in there and do little details. But it's one of those things I gotta always remind myself. That's the whole reason why I'm using this disgustingly big brush. Like it's almost like imagine drawing your thumbnails with a Sharpie. It's brutal. I feel like I'm fighting it all the time. And yeah, I do think there's something to be said about being comfortable when you work. But this stage of the game, I'm always trying to go quick and efficient, and I feel like if I went with a smaller brush, like my brain keeps telling me just to use, I would just end up noodling a little bit more. If you know what I mean. All right, let's erase some of this stuff. Whoops. Just want to erase enough to still see what we have. Let me turn this off. Cool. Dublin King ain't nothing to f with. John, just to save you some time, did a test on SNAS. It works for an on-screen countdown timer, but for the Pomodoro on-screen, maybe it's easier to capture the Chrome application with OBS. So, okay, I'll look into that. Again, I don't. You can tell just by with the layout. It's so gross. Everything's just thrown on the screen. I haven't made too much time, if any, really, besides getting it to work, to how to make it efficient. I see some people like the KNKL show, Keenan Lafferty. If you guys, I hope you guys are following him. Wonderful channel, whether you like the style or not. Really great information. But he makes it really like a show. I believe he's on Twitch. I don't know if he's still on there, but for Twitch, a lot of the stuff is like make it a show, right? But he does a lot of really cool transitions and has some animations and stuff. And to me, that's like the bar. That no, not the bar, but like I guess the goal. If you can get something even close to that kind of stuff with some transition, it makes it fun, right? So I don't know if he uses OBS or something else, but maybe I should reach out to him and ask him. Or you know what? Before you do that, do a little research on your own. So maybe I'll take some time to try to figure some of this stuff out. All right. So we got dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. XSplit. Okay, I think my brother used that. I believe when he was doing his stream on Twitch. I think more. Does this sound right for those of you that stream? Like especially for Twitch, XSplit is what a lot of people use for fancy stuff. And do you have to pay for it? It's free, but I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'll look into it. I know OBS is free for sure. It's simple to use. That's why I've always used it just to get it up and running, and I'm doing what I can with it. But if it's XSplit, if I believe, because my brother was doing some really nice transitions and countdown timers and stuff too. That was really slick. Maybe I'll tug on his ear again. Maybe he can help me out a little bit. Not that I don't want to turn the stream into a show, but there's little things like an online timer and stuff like that. I think would be pretty cool, especially if we're getting back into the Pomodoros. And a lot of the times I don't use the Pomodoro when we're streaming at night because I'm already done work and this is all I'm doing anyway. But on the weekend, it probably makes a little bit of sense. Get some sort of grid in the background here. Just again, what I've already been saying is that we can use this grid to put like debris and stuff on the ground. Okay, so the timer went off there, so let's save it up. I will be back in 5 minutes. Just taking a Pomodoro break. Let's get that set up. Okay, I'll be right back, you guys. Okay. What's that? We can just download one of these 25 minutes countdown video on YouTube and have it as an overlay when you start the Pomodoro. Oh, you mean for yeah? You know what that makes? I have like a. I see what you're saying the whole time. My bad. I was confused. You're saying have an actual countdown timer on the screen. That makes a lot of sense. Just download a nice countdown video on YouTube or make your own and add to OBS. All right, well let's give me a second here. Let's try it. So we're not going to be doing some art for like a minute or two, maybe a little bit more. I'm just going to try what Dado's saying here. I might have to make my own. I don't know. I don't know how copyright stuff works with YouTube. One sec, I got a whole bunch going on here. Okay. To restart the timer, just need to. Okay, so Dado is trying to help me out here. All right, let's see here. So you're saying works ace. Just download a nice countdown video on YouTube, yeah. Make your own. Add to OBS via the media source option. Add scene. Let's try it. Countdown timer. Or wait, hold on. Add sort of media source. Yeah, I don't get media source. I get window capture, monitor capture, image slides, slow video capture, game capture. Yeah, I don't get what you're saying there. Sorry about all the crap going on here, guys. Trying to find some. Yeah, I don't get the option. Actually, hold on. I might have already downloaded a countdown. Let's see if I already. Oh wait, there's a timer that comes with Windows, isn't there? Timer. Let's see. I mean, this is the really gross version. Just put a really nasty timer here. Yeah. Oh, this is gross. That looks a little better. At least blue. Okay, well. We'll run it there. Plus, you guys can always see how over 5 minutes I'm actually going for. So, okay. Thanks anyway. I apologize. Like I didn't even think about that. I'm just putting like the 5 minutes there, just to let you guys know. But like, if somebody comes in right when I started that, they don't know how long that's been, right? Okay. All right, this one is Jessup, and they're all looking up, obviously, right? I don't know if I said that last time, because we got the king kind of above him. I still feel like actually now that I'm looking at that guy, feel like his head might still be too small. Okay. Cool. All right, let's save that up. So I think it's line art time. Let's see here. So 33. Now this one again, just to repeat it a whole bunch of times on you guys. I'm not sure if we're doing traditional or digital. So far it's on traditional side, but I guess depending on how it's going, I really should probably just do this digital. Just because I'm behind on getting these pages, you know, out. And when you're behind, it's probably not smart to start fucking around with trying different process and stuff. So that's done. Let's just save it up again. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to this is going to be super boring for you guys. I apologize. Move this up here. But I'm going to write. I'm going to write now. And I haven't done this with you guys before. Let me just turn Spotify off here. I can't have lyrics while I'm doing this. And I'll show you guys, I guess, how I do this. Okay, so let me open up a new browser tab. Go to Grammarly. And I'll bring this over here so you guys can see it. Okay, so I use a website called Grammarly. You guys have heard me talk about it before. Let me just make sure this is on the screen. Yeah, so what Grammarly does is it's an add-on for Chrome. So you know when you're typing anywhere, for the most part, like YouTube, Facebook, anything like that, and you'll get like the red underlines and things are spelt wrong. Well, what Grammarly does is it does that plus more. It fixes the grammar. So hey, you just put like some people might go like, "Hey Joe, how are you?" Right? So hey Joe, whoop, my God, how are you? Right? And it's checking at the bottom. You can't really see it, and you'll see it'll start to add like, or apparently it won't. Let me just see if it's kicking in. Okay, normally, I don't know why it's not doing it right in here. Maybe that is how you'd say it. Let me try a different way. How's Joe doing today? See if it catches it. because I'm still considering purchasing this. It's like you can get, like you see right here where it says there's an advanced, oh, you can't see it. Let me just bring this up. Right here. It'll say you wanted an advanced issue, so if you click it, what it says is it won't actually change it. But it says right here, right? There's improper formatting and stuff like that. Normally it'll tell you things like, "Hey Joe," or to be, "Hey, comma Joe, how are you?" You know. And I don't have an editor on the project. Most people don't pay for editors. They're worth their money for sure, but they can be expensive. So this is why I'm considering trying it. I'm not 100% sure just yet. Paying like 140 bucks for a year. It sounds crazy. It totally sounds crazy, but the grammar is huge, especially when you're writing. And sometimes you can just sort of just put it out there, but if something sticks out, it can actually take people out of it. So I'm not sure yet. The pricing is still whatever. Editors are more than this for sure. So that's a reason why I'm considering this. I know it's not perfect, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. You'll see as we do this, it'll start to check things. I'm surprised it's not doing that. Maybe Joe, it doesn't know what the hell Joe is. But so what I'll do is I'm just going to write this with you guys so you can see how I tackle this. And it's pretty simple. It's not nothing too crazy. So first things first, I just put page. So we got 33. I'm going to hit enter a couple times. Page 34. Yeah, and of course there's spoilers for those of you that are story sensitive here. Just come back in maybe like 10-15 minutes. Doesn't take too long. I don't try to dwell on this too much. Okay, so first things first. Save for web. So I know where the story's kind of going, but I want to see what the last thing that was said. Okay. So we got the Goblin King here, and he's saying, "Still alive, eh? Good. Fresh, I need you still. Hold on, Queen Tubia, it's a long way down. Gwa, gwa, gwa." Look at this guy. Scumbag. Look at him, just hitting that thing. Tink, 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 tink. He wants her to fall. So he's basically just trolling right now. And you can see in the background, this is those characters I was telling you about. They're coming to show up. So I have this, but since I got rid of the thumbnails, I have to open up the thumbnails as well. Now, a lot of you guys can just skip all this and do your scripting before you even start drawing. I don't like working that way. Eventually I'm sure I'll get there, but for now let's just do it this way. So here's one page there, and I thought, interesting, maybe I have it saved up weird. Right, so these are the other ones. So when I'm doing my thumbnails, you can see I have some writing in here, and what this writing does is it sort of like guides me to where I'll go with stuff, right? King Maxio, we are back with the intruders. Blah, 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 blah. Is that okay? So what I'll do is I'm just going to move this over to the side. That way you guys can see me doing writing anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'll move this one over here too. Cool. Okay. So he was trolling. So I know there's 5 panels. Sometimes I'll try to. I don't do this all the time. I do it pretty streamlined since you can see this is very like, okay, it's done, and I take it. I'm just going to put it in the page. But with you guys, I'll try to tighten this up a little bit. So I'll put like P1 for panel 1. All the places that I can see that there's dialogue. Panel 2, panel 3, panel 4, and panel 5. So panel 1, so normally you would write like whoever it is that's talking, and then you put their dialogue. I already know. I got this. I can look over here and see exactly what the hell I need to write here, right? So panel 1, he's like who's surprising him kind of thing. La, 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 la. And let me just take a look at what we have, because sometimes I'll add speech bubbles. Like you can see here, I have 2. This might seem like a lot of back and forth. I apologize. It's really not that. It's not that crazy. Let me just kind of, so make sure you can see it. So 2 panels here. So the first thing, I look over at my what I had here. King Maxia back. We are intruders captured. Okay, so King Maxia. I believe that's his name. I'll have to check and just double check before we go. King Maxia. You can see that would be what I'd fill in the first bubble. Whoops. I love how chaotic this seems. Just because I have a bunch of windows going, it's really not this stupid. King Maxi, and they talk really weird too. So King Maxi, back we are, and Shooter's capture has been made. What's he saying? Prove it to me. Shall we begin preparations? Should we begin preparations for the punishment ceremony? One thing I have found too is just try to write what you're trying to say, and then you can always go back and adjust, like with spell checks or thesaurus and stuff like that. Just get it out there, and then see if you can break it up and change up how it's. See, so here's a good example right here, right? So I just said, shall we begin preparations for the punishment ceremony? If you look what it's changing it's fixing how I spelt it, plus it's also putting a question mark because it was a question, it wasn't a period, right? And it's also changing this. Shall we being preparations for the punishment? It's shall we be. No, it's not. Shall we begin is what it's supposed to be, right? Shall we begin preparations for the punishment ceremony? Alright, so next we've got him. He's got 2 speech bubbles here. So let's make sure we get that right. Is that so? Is it Commander? I don't know what the hell he is. I'll have to check. Commander Skit. What kind of name is that? Is that so? Commander Skit. Is that so? Commander Skit. I want this guy to be like an asshole too, right? So I need to put little like jives in what he's saying, little digs. That's so Commander Skit. Your last mission was utter. It's almost like a mix between Yoda, and I try my best not to get into Yoda's talk while I'm writing, because I don't want them to talk like him, but it's busted up broken English. Because I try to play it on their intelligence that it's not, same kind of thing. This time so easy it was. Prove me it. And then here. Let's go down here. Music maker. Like blow sound. Like that's not a how you would say it. Blow sound for Pegargo. Like, it's such a weird sentence. Music maker blows sound for Pegargo, and release the captured meat creatures. Like, what? Alright, so then, I don't know what the horn sound is. Brew, I think it is. So I'll make a little note. Take sound from previous page. Does it work only in English? You can help me with the broken English. It's your specialty. No, it's all good, man. I don't know if it just works in English. You can check it out. Grammarly.com. So Grammarly. It's actually a huge thing. I didn't even know about it. Sometimes I'll go on YouTube and I'll look for like I have a few subscriptions on YouTube for like efficiency or productivity, those kinds of things, and that's where I find out about this kind of stuff. I don't think a lot of, I don't say comic people aren't talking about it, but like comics are weird. It's like illustration, story, writing, time management, deadlines, freelance, business. How do you sell? How do you make money? Like it goes everywhere, right? Especially when it's just you. So it's like it's weird. There's all these little like things that you can find in lots of little places. So I have this. What I'm going to do here is, like I said, there's some corrections I'm gonna have to make in here, but I just want to make sure I have some stuff here. So King Maxia, is that what his name was? I'm pretty sure that's what we named him. Just want to, because sometimes like I'll word things wrong, and you don't want to be wording it twice. See, so Scarborn, return to view, King Mexiat. Did I spell it right? Mexiat. Pretty sure that's right. King. No, see, I didn't. King Maxia. King Maxiat. There we go. So his name is Skit, right? Commander Skit. I don't think but the previous page. Just write a script, you guys. You guys will save yourself so much time and headaches. Yeah, see, Scarborn Skit has returned. See, I didn't really say what class he was, like what kind of position he was, because I didn't want to put commanders and stuff, but I know why that makes sense. Like Scarborn, that's just a thing, right? But now this kind of goes into story stuff. So if you can see his eye right here, it's all like it's a scar, and his eye's like dead, right? So that's why they call him Scarborn. And he's not like a huge character. He's just a character because they all look the same. If I put a scar on one guy's face and I keep making him show up and I give him a name, all of a sudden he's like, if you guys have ever played any kind of video game where all the bad guys look the same, but one of them has like a color difference and they call him a name, it's not just like Grunt or Minion, then that's a guy or it's a person. So I'm doing that. But where I'm saying how this kind of organically grows into like world building and story, right off the top, I could just make it like anybody that's like a high ranking position, they're just naturally born with a scar. Or maybe there's a ritual that once they ascend to like a commander, they have to lose an eye, like a scar. And they're reborn kind of thing as a scarborn kind of thing. So you see how organically things and ideas can kind of come together to make that? Which I encourage a lot. I think it's really good. And the reason why I'm talking about meat and punishment and stuff, because they already talk about it. In Foreign King Mexiat, we have arrived fresh with meat. The intruders have been captured. Punishment shall be entertaining. That's why, oh my god, why does that keep doing that? That's why I brought that up in there as well. Is that so? Let's just get rid of the Scarborn. So put Scarborn Skit. Let's see. King Mexiat. Back we are. Intruders' capture has been made. Shall we begin preparations for the punishment ceremony? Is that so, Scarborn Skit? Your last mission was an utter failure. This time so easy it was, prove me it. Music maker, blow sound for Pagargo and release the captured meat creatures. Alright, so let me just pull up when they first summon them. What page is this? 18. Okay, make music with horn, call Pagargo. Okay, so he didn't even address him. Alright, so if I call him music maker, still good. This was page 18. Okay, I'm not going on break. I'm going to finish the script and then we're going to go on a break. There we go. All right, so that's one page down. Guess what? We get to do it all over again. So in this one, so I'll go down to page 34. So there's there's some sound effects out there, like whatever. I'll fiddle that in. This is all like sound effect stuff. We don't got to put anything. But you can see down here, I got like a little scribble. I wanted to add Jessup saying something, and then Momo saying a couple things. So if I go over here to my thumbnails, all that I have is her saying this is gross, which is great. Because that lets us free this up a bit, right? So here, we've only got panel 3 that we got to worry about. I'm going to put... This is where I'm saying I break it down a little bit where normally I wouldn't do this. But like if you're doing this appropriate, you would go like Jessup, what he says, and then Momo, what she says. I'm just going to start with her. So she says, this is so gross. Trying to add that valley girl or something, teenage girl kind of talk to her. This is so gross. I can't wait to get my hands. No. Can't wait to get my tentacles. I can't wait to get my tentacles wrapped around that stupid. Should we do Skit? Skit's neck. Yeah, sure. I can't wait to get my tentacles wrapped around that stupid Skit's neck. Skit almost sounds like it's slang. All right, so Jessup would say something here. What would he say? He's like, yeah, he would make sure everybody's okay. Is everyone okay? No one's hurt too bad. Alright, let it do its checking just in case I botched something up there. Alright, so see, this what I'm saying is really cool, right? So the editorial part of this, which is great, right? So check this out. Is everyone okay? No one's hurt too bad? To me, when I say that, it sounds right. I don't know, but what it's suggesting is everyone okay? Is no one hurt too bad? That sounds a little bit more appropriate. It's not real speak, I suppose. Like nobody go, is no one hurt too bad? That doesn't really whatever, right? But I guess in the context, like proper English, that would make more sense. Is everyone okay? Is no one hurt too bad? As opposed to, is everyone okay? No one's hurt too bad. Kind of like he's talking. So I kind of have to choose which one I want to go there, right? If I go undo, do I go with what sounds right or what I guess you would write correctly, right? Because that's the difference. One is like when you're reading something is the correct way, and then there's like dialogue that somebody's speaking, right? Is everyone okay? No one's hurt too bad. I like that. It sounds like something that would be really said, not is no one. Seems a little weird. Okay, so this page is pretty much done. You can see how fast this stuff kind of goes. Now this one, we've got walls of text. Walls of text. Scroll over here. Let's see what we got going on over there. How's it going, guys? Sean Ray, how are you doing? Pretty sure I butchered that. And Purvis, how are you doing? It's going great. I just thought I'd show you guys how I do the writing for this comic so you can see how lackluster and unimpressive it is. Because I think this is the first time we're actually documenting the story. I can't see your guys' screen and stuff while I'm typing, so I apologize if you guys are asking questions or anything. Okay, so we've got 3 big walls of text here. So he says, well done, interesting to see one of our own. So he's talking kind of about, I forget the guy's name. There's Boca and, actually, hold on. Where do they get introduced? Right here. Scrim. Scrim is the name of the guy. Scrim and Skit, they might get mixed up. People might not know what the. Okay. So you're talking about that. You work for me now. She uses magic. It'll make digging easier. That mountain will dig very deep. The Tupo will be a slave again. As for the traitor. Okay. Alright, so this will be a little interesting to write here. So we're going to do all panels here. So panel 1, it's just the same guy talking. Panel 2, panel 3, panel 4, panel 5. So panel 1, so he's got, a wall of text here. So he'll say, well done. And we'll just keep it going. Scarborn. Well done, Scarborn. Very interesting indeed. Is it breaking atmosphere? Is that what it was coming in for a landing? Breaking atmosphere sounds weird. What's it called when a ship comes up? When we saw your ship, What's it called when a spaceship returns to Earth? The shuttle's return? That sounds lame. Sometimes there's language we want, right? Re-entry. What's that re-entry? It's tricky business or master. Grift and drag. Hey, how many ads can we get on this site? Jesus. As the object falls, it hits. No, don't care about that. Because like I want to think just like when we saw your ship landing, but I'm trying to imagine them doing their thing and then they see like the spaceship coming in from space, right? Docking. If a spacecraft docks, it joins another spacecraft while they're in space. No. See, this is the part. Re-entry, right? The moment when a spacecraft enters the Earth's atmosphere again. We don't want the again part. So it's just entry then? We just saw your ship enter. Language. Touchdown. Fuck. Alright, let me check the chat. You guys might be able to help me out. Hey, Justin, how's it going? Alright, well, I don't know what the hell we're going to put. We saw your ship. Very interesting indeed. Maybe just get rid of all this. We'll just do this. We saw your arrival. The moment you broke atmosphere, sure. Shame you were. I'll break up this thing. Like you remember how he said I have to break up the language so it's a little bit. It's not like these guys are humans, kind of talking. So I just have to write it how I would say it, and then go back and break it up. Shame you were dumb enough to stay. Especially since this is a is planet capital. Very interesting indeed. We saw your arrival the moment you broke atmosphere. Shame you were dumb enough to stay, especially since this is a Doblin-controlled planet. Nonetheless, we always use new, fresh slaves. Alright, so we check that. Alright, so let's break this up. Very interesting indeed. Alright, let's get rid of that. And we'll start with indeed. Very interesting. Instead of I'll put I. It makes him sound like he's still like the guy. Instead of everybody said, I saw your arrival the moment you broke atmosphere. I saw your arrival the moment you broke atmosphere. Shame you were dumb. Dumb enough. Can you break that up? Shame you were dumb enough to stay. I guess we're going full Yoda on this one. Shame it is you were dumb enough. No, you are. You're not were. You. Shame it is you were dumb enough to stay. Nah, yeah, we'll do we were. Because he's talking about when it happened before. Shame it is you were dumb enough to stay. Especially since this is Doblin controlled planet. Yeah, we'll get rid of A. Since this is Doblin controlled planet. Nonetheless, we always use new fresh slaves. Yeah, I guess it's busted up. Okay, I want to see here if we can right click and sweet. Yeah. To an unusual degree, for more what from for one more than for others. Especially since this is, particularly since this is wonderfully, notably, exceptionally so. Notably, I guess especially works there. What about controlled? What can we put there? To hold in checked. Commanded. I like that. Dominated. This is the power of thesauruses, guys. If you guys don't use thesauruses, like, just hear how this sounds already, right? Especially since this is a Doblin controlled planet. But if you just change, like, right, especially since this is a Doblin dominated a Doblin dominated planet. That's kind of hard to say. Two D's back to back. Since this is a Doblin regulated, no, dominated sounds good though. Like a Doblin dominated planet. It's kind of hard to roll out the Doblin. To hold in check the constrained planet is a Doblin. Would it be imprisoned? A Doblin. They didn't get control of it. They stole it, right? They invaded. What would that be called? All right, let's just go to thesaurus.com. This is another way I do stuff. So coming here, I'm pretty sure I spelled that wrong. No, cool. So invaded. Let's see what we got. Occupied. Ooh, occupied's a good one. Raided planet. Occupied. Occupied is great. Overrun. I like if they spoke like that. Like, they don't come to a planet and take it, they overrun it. This is a Doblin overrun planet. But overrun just means that there's still no control, right? Occupied. I like occupied because that takes them out of it. Like, they're just there to do their thing and get out. Here's a Doblin occupied planet. Let's see, just in case, sometimes we'll get even a better word than that. Let's double click. Controlled, right? We already had that. Held. This is a Doblin held planet. Ooh, held. Especially since this is a Doblin occupied planet. Especially since this is a Doblin held planet. Occupied planet. Occupied. Yeah, let's do held. Conquered. To take possession. Conquered, obtained, invaded, seized. Ooh, a Doblin seized planet. Whew. This is strong stuff. Do you see how, like, language is so important? Any one of these words changes the tone of a sentence. It's not conquered because they're still there and they're still getting stuff. Obtained just means they recently got it. Invaded, I like that, but that makes them feel like they're bad guys. Seized sounds, I like that. Seized that's a juicy one. Let's do it one more time. To take by force. Occupied. Forced, conquered, yeah, we already did that, so understood. Okay, so I guess that's it. Indeed, very interesting. I saw your arrival the moment you broke atmosphere. Shame it is you. Whoa. Shame it is you were dumb enough. That doesn't even make sense. Shame. There we go. Very interesting. I saw your arrival the moment you broke atmosphere. Shame you were dumb enough to stay, especially since this is a Doblin seized planet. Nonetheless, we always use new fresh slaves. New's kind of a word. Let's see what we get. I guess new doesn't. slaves is a powerful word. All right, so what do we got here? That's 1, 2, 3. That fits those 3 there. And now he just starts talking smut about these other guys right there. So he's got 2 things at the other. You work for me now, okay? So that's what he's saying. You work for me now. Your lives are now mine. Your bodies. You work for me now. Your lives are mine. Your lives are now mine. Your bodies are now mine. Your souls are now mine. All right, let's see what we get for work. Your lives. Your lives are now mine. Your hearts are now mine. Your souls are now mine. And your souls are now mine. So should he know what kind of race Momo is? Jessup is just a big guy, so he doesn't really need to care. Because I haven't really said what race she is just yet, you know? Annexed planet? Ooh. What does annexed mean? Yeah, thanks for chiming in, you guys. Sorry, I can't. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Because your window, the chat gets blocked while I'm doing this here. Annex. Append or adds an extra subordinate part, especially for document. Territory to owns territory for appropriation. Take for oneself. Annex. Annex is cool. It's got like that X. It's got an X in it, right? So it makes it sound very strong. I just fear I'm not a super intelligent guy when it comes to a lot of language. So I feel like I'm not going to. If I don't really get it, I don't want other people to get too crazy with it as well. Anyway, what should he know? Just trying to what I'm trying to say is what's it called? If he knows what Momo is, I want these guys to they've been around. They go places. They invade the world. They're like the ants and the cancer of the galaxy, right? And all that stuff like that. Your mind now can be 2, but it repeats all the time. Oh, you think this is too repetitive? Is that what you're saying? Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is if I think he should know what she is, but I haven't come up with what the hell she is. Did we? She's a. We don't really. All right, well, we can do this. Okay, so we can really dig into these people. So I'm just gonna put something. I'm just writing for whatever. The smart mouthed. I'm just gonna put Hojo. I don't know what the race is just yet. The smart mouth Hojo. Will make digging in the mines easier with her magic. I'm going to go back and get all this stuff here, okay? So I'll fill this in. So now he's talking about Jessup. That mountain of a man. Doesn't know he's a war machine, right? That mountain of a man will dig very deep. easily. And the last one, the tupo, I see has had its slave collar removed. We will put her back in chains and put her to work once again. As for the Doblin Trader, and that's where the page ends. Okay. Okay, so let's go back here. Blah, 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 blah. The smart mouthed Hojo will make digging in the mines easier with her magic. Smart mouth. Digging the mines. We'll just say digging the mines easier. Let's see if we got a word for that. No cinnamons for easier. Okay. With her magic. Nothing. No. With her. Where'd all my... Interesting. The smart mouthed. Alright, what's her... I don't actually know if we came up with... Here, give me a second. I just want to double check because I may have already done this work. Oh, one sec. Okay, got our Jessup King notebook. I haven't used this in a while. I want to get back into it, but I made a whole bunch of notes. Sorry, I'm getting congested all of a sudden, so you can hear me just mouth breathing like an idiot. I want to see, because I know I had a whole bunch of notes on some of these characters. So let's go find Momo. Okay, here we go. No, I didn't. I just said what she's about. I realize this is super boring for you guys. I apologize. Sadly, I like to document some of this anyway. For those of you that go back and maybe use some of this stuff as reference or something for when you start to make your own thing. I can't wait to get to some of this stuff here. Okay, that was... Alright, well, let's just come up with some names then. So if I don't have any notes, I usually just go with something and ride with it. I mean, I still get... I want to get this... This is what I like to do, for those of you that maybe don't know. I like to get this done, and then put it in, because we still have the line art to do, the inking and the coloring. So that gives me possibly a whole week to come back and go, I don't like that, and I can just change the name, right? So, let's go smart mouthed. Because I don't even know what she is, to be honest with you. I know she's a play between a jellyfish and not even really a squid. It's more like a jellyfish and like a slime or something. Nubble? Smart mouth. Nubble. We need like jelly. Jubble. Whoops, I'm talking about something. How about jubble? Sounds kind of cute. Jubble? She's a jubble? We'll see how it rolls, right? Jubilee. That's what. All right, we'll just keep jubble for now. Again, we'll just see how it goes, right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, no problem, Europia. You know, I agree with you. Thank you. Like, I've heard annex before, or annexed. It's just I didn't really know the context for it, but thank you. I mean, like, language is super important. And just because I'm stupid and dumb, and I'm putting my audience in that same category of stupid and dumb, meaning that because of how I'm writing, they have to read that, and it's up to them to understand it. So a vast majority of people could understand what annexed means. I'm just too stupid and to use it until you told me about it now. That I'm just gonna keep it going that way. Anyway, we're gonna call her her race anyway a jubble for now. I don't know if we're gonna keep it the J. I just put a J just because of what's it called? The hell am I talking about? Because she's a jellyfish, so something like that. The other thing that I like to do as well, I'll show you guys this too. I do this with every single character, name, whatever I put. So let me just bring this on screen too, so you guys just search text to speech reader, and you can just put in whatever you want, right? So I think it's jubble, but we'll see how it actually sounds. Normal speed, and let me put it on so you guys can hear it. Speakers.
Jubal.
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 Interesting. So I was saying jubble, but jubal is how that would be pronounced.
Jubal.
So how would jubble be? Is it two U's?
Bill.
Whoops.
Jubal.
Jubal.
Ill. Jubble.
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 Jubble sounds kind of cool too.
Jubble. 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 Jubble.
What if we had another B in there? Let's see how this sounds.
Jabible.
Jabible.
Jabil.
You can have a whole bunch of fun with this.
Jubble.
Alright, so I guess that's what we're going to call it. We'll go there. Because you can do stuff like this, right? King Mexiat.
King Mexiat. King Mexiat.
Yeah. It's just some fun stuff to do in there. Just that, whatever. Alright, so double click that. How is it? Is it Jubal? I've already forgotten.
Jubble.
Jubble. Jubble. That's really how it's jubble? Jubble, I guess, yeah. Because I guess the B you're going to stick on there for a little bit. Don't worry, John. I'm learning the process to apply it in the future. Okay, good. Okay, cool. Jubble. Okay. Where's the magic? That mountain of a man. So I put man, and I don't know if... I know humans are in here, but if he's looking at Jessup, and Jessup's like 10 feet tall, he's not... that doesn't make sense. Men aren't 10 feet tall. That mountain of a man. I don't like that. That mass. What would that be? A titan? Maybe, you know, as a joke of a mustache. Maybe I'll just keep using that. Because it's sort of like it goes around. It's still a dig. It's still... Momo's called Jessup, you know, like, hey, mustache, let's do this and stuff before. That mountain of a mustache will dig very deep and move large stones easily. The mountain part, the only reason, like, I understand mountain in the terms of, like, oh my god, the size of a mountain. But I'm talking about mines and digging in rocks. It makes sense for a mountain to be in there, but I'm wondering if there's maybe something else we could use at a mountain. That, gargantuan, that massive mustache will dig. That, what is it? That titan of a mustache. That's what titan. Let's just see. I know titan's not a good one. Colossus. That monster of a mustache. Monster sounds pretty good. That's got some double meaning. That giant of a mustache. That colossus of a mustache. That gargantua of a mustache. Maybe monster. That monster of a mustache. Monster. But monster doesn't say size. A colossus definitely does. Meat bag. Meat bag's pretty. I like that too. That meat bag of a mustache will do. That colossus of a mustache will dig very deep and move large stones. Uh, anything. Large, let's put. And move massive. What the hell is a massive stone? It'd be like a boulder, right? Yeah. And see, that's funny. So move big stones, I think is what we had, right? Big stones easily. Just by two different words, it changes the whole tone. And move massive boulders easily, right? Like that just sounds meat bag. That's kind of a colossus of a mustache will dig very deep. Varies as a bad word. Let's get rid of very. We'll dig deep. Dig. Vary's not being used right now, bro. Dig. Delve. We'll delve deep. Delve. Yes. Let's get some dwarven feelings in there. That colossus of a mustache will delve deep and move massive boulders easily. Hey Troy, how are you, man? The smart mode Jubal. Okay, that. So the colossus of a mustache will. Feel like yeah. So what if we do this? The mustache one. The mustache one will delve deep and move massive boulders. I want this to sound worse than just what they're gonna do. So the mustache one will delve deep, moving massive boulders until each of those many muscles rip from his bones. See, that sounds, like he wants to work these guys till their death. So I got to go back and do that. The mustache one will delve deep, moving massive boulders until each one of his many muscles rip from. Can't have his twice until each one of those. Wait, each one of his many muscles rip from their bones. Muscles from their bones? That doesn't. Until each. Until each of those many muscles. Each of those. Let's get rid of that. It's getting clustered. Until each of those muscles rip from his bones. The mustache one will delve deep, moving massive boulders until each one of those muscles rip from his bones. Oversized mustache. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try that. That oversized mustache. The oversized mustache. Whoops, there we go. Excuse me. The oversized mustache will delve deep, moving massive boulders until each of those muscles rip from his bones. The smart mouth Jubal. Is it Jubal? Jubble. That's what it was. The smart mouth Jubble will make digging the mines easier with her magic. Until every every flicker of life is spent. Witchcraft. We'll put witchcraft in there. I like witchcraft. They don't believe in magic. They're very like tech kind of stuff. So witchcraft. The smart mouth Jubble will make digging the mines easier with her witchcraft until every flicker of her life is spent. Till every flicker of. I just want her twice. Maybe it's fine. Mine's easier with her witchcraft until every flicker of her life is spent. What do we do for spent? The smart mouth Jubble will make digging the mines easier with her witchcraft until every flicker of her life is spent. The oversized mustache will delve deep, moving massive boulders until each of those muscles rip from his bones. The tupo, I see, has had its. Is this one wrong? Confused, contraction, or possessive. The tupo, I see, has had its slave collar removed. We will put it back. We will put her back in chains and back to work. Back to. Okay, I think this might work here. So the tupo, I see, has had its slave collar removed. We will put her back in chains and put back to work once again. As for the Doblin trader, okay, well, we can move forward from here anyway. Like I said, always going back and refining this whole thing. So let me just close this stuff. I'm going to move this back over here so I can still see what you guys are saying. And all we do now, really, is it's pretty simple. Is I'm just going to go through everything and just plop the text in here, okay? So you're going to see that in a second here. And then I adjust it after that. So let me close this here. Okay, so panel 1, copy. What I'll do too is just lower the opacity a little bit just so I can see what the hell's going on. So click our text tool and just click and press Control V. Oops, that's really it. And then I worry about adjusting all this stuff after. So panel 2. Alright, so we're just going to click up here, paste, and you can see it always goes off screen. That's fine, because we're going to change all that anyway. Goes in there. Oh, I didn't notice that I had a couple more. And we'll save that. Oops. Okay, so whenever you click the text, it'll always like make all these extra layers. So I just grab them, I'll put it into a folder after the end, and just put text. That way we can put it, where do I put it? I put it under the panels. There we go. Okay, we'll save that up. And I also noticed that I put something in here, so I'll just do this real quick. Again, always change all this stuff as we need it. So I'm going to make a new layer, grab our brush tool, and I have this one brush that I just love. Let me just try to find it. I think it's this one. I don't know if this one's too small. Yeah. It's just like a big chunky brush. But again, you can only change it so it's petit. I don't even know if this is the right font to use, but petit. And then now we get the big old text heavy one. Okay, well done, Scarborn. How about work? What do we change for work? You. It's not you work for me now. You serve me now. You. I like serve. You serve me now. Okay. Yeah, man. We did the breakdowns earlier, and I just wanted to. We're gonna kill the stream in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm just going to. I wanted to show anyway the how I do the writing. You guys have already seen in previous videos how I do the plots, how we get to here. But this is how I've been doing the writing, just like this. So right off the hop, there's two things that are good and bad about this. The good thing is hopefully you can see how quick it can be, right? To not get caught up necessarily in figuring out the script right from the beginning and getting like. I know a lot of people like to work with scripts, so I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying this is a different way to do it so that those of us that kind of get hamstring or stuck at the scripting stage and trying to figure out the right dialogue and all that stuff before you even get to drawing, this is a good way to move forward with this, okay? The bad side of it is exactly that. Since I haven't ironed out what the dialogue is and what the scenes, well, I know where the plot's going, but the dialogue is actually really important because that's not only the voice of the characters, but it also moves the story along. And if you do it like I did it, or like I'm currently doing it, there's a lot of things where you're kind of leaving it up to you that you might not feel like you're ready to do and stuff, right? So there's a pro and a con, obviously, for everything you do. But again, I wanted to at least show this in one video, so I thought we'd do it today. Kind of like how the legit, honest to God version of how I put these together. Okay, so the next step here, what we're gonna do You guys have seen this before, but either way, I have to do it before I get to the drawing because this way I know exactly where things are. Because things are still rough here, right? But once I get the speech bubbles in, I can really draw around it. So there's certain things I won't need to draw and all that sort of stuff. Okay. So let's get into it. So let's get to our text. Now, this guy's text is inverted. I like doing that sometimes for bad guys, where it's like the speech bubble's black, where the outside's white. We will do that, but first, it's easier just to see everything in black, just kind of the way it's going. So I have this. What I'm going to do actually is delete that. And I'll make a new layer. And we're going to use that really cool brush that I like. It just gives it like a little bit of an edge to it. Down a bit, just to make it feel like, I guess, that he's yelling or something, right? So go there with that, and I'll put the balloons all at the end there. So for the name, I've been trying to do this a little bit, is bolding names or something, just so that, like, you'll always see it in comics all the time, and I just haven't been doing it, which is like there's a thing that's bold, and it just makes it so when you're reading it, you say it differently, right? So it's like King Maxia back we are. So if I put back, it's like King Maxia back we are. That kind of idea. So we hit backspace. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If we go 4, maybe. That might be a little bit too big. Let's bring it down. Sometimes it's cool just to play around a little bit with this stuff because you never know. It's funny, man, how much these things change. King Maxia back. Let's bring it down a little bit. So you can see here's a good example just of currently how I have it. So when I draw his hand, I'll have to bring it down so it doesn't get cut off by a balloon. What if it's that way? That might work. Okay, just give me a second here, guys. Good old lettering, eh, guys? Super fun. So I have a speech bubble here, but there's no real reason for it. I might be able to move this. Most likely, I'll move that guy up. And I'm doing something that's wrong here, which is having the first person speaking on the right? So I'm going up here and then coming down, where these guys should be reversed, so it just flows a little easier. But I need him to turn around. It's a mistake I made. So I'm trying to get around it with the way we put our text. Let me open up page, whatever the hell that page was. 18. Because I need the sound effect again. Did we put it in this one? Let's see. I'm not sure. Sure did. Alright. So we need those two layers. And we'll see how well this blends in. Oh, what? Where's... What? What? Oh, I see what I did there. Okay. I don't know how we're going to have this just yet, but... Put it there for now. We can always adjust it later. Not a big deal. Okay, so I'll turn all that off. And... save it up. Let's get our speech bubbles going. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's just get everything going here. And then we'll put it in there. Alright, so for the text here, I'm going to just do the same thing. Use my favorite brush. It's because it's cool. And we're just going to put in some... Wait, yeah, this guy... Yeah, no, that's right. So here we got a problem of just way too much text. So there's really no way I can get around it because I screwed up. So what we'll do is we go down our friend breakdowns and let's find our artwork. Sweet, it's all in one layer. And we're just going to have to move these guys over a little bit, which sucks, but hopefully it'll still read well. I'll have to move her tentacle up. Oh, thanks, man. The fine line art or just like the flat fine art? Line art. Can't speak. Maybe you know what I'm gonna do here too. I'm going to copy his laugh. I think it'll be kind of fun. I mean, I got some space to fill up, but at the same time, it's just I don't know. If I can have this pop up every now and then, kind of fun. Gua gua gua. Just shrink it up a bit so it fits. Okay. Cool. Now, do you use that one because what size DPI do you draw in? Do you draw? Are you doing like 11 by 17 or anything? 300 DPI. The reason I ask is I do find that I try to ask this from time to time from people, but yeah, it sounds like I use 600 DPI, so the fine lines it's too small, but I use the fine on like smaller resolution things as well. I tried 600 before it was 300. Okay. I will say, obviously, do whatever you want. If you're intending for print at all, if you have access to this, please, the fine line that you're doing, try to print it out to scale of a comic book page. What I mean is, get your 11 by 17 or whatever that you normally would do, and then print it out at the size of a comic book so you can see how fine the line art gets. Because I do find that the fine one it picks up, but it might be too fine. I'm not sure your style and stuff. So again, I just want to put that to your attention. Just check it out. Because I don't want you to put in all that work, and then find out it's like, oh well, shit. that line art was way too small. Hmm. So I have to change some of this liner that you guys can see. Like I can move these guys over here. I have more room now because of things are getting a little too tight over here, but I can still adjust the line art. Even though we spent all that time doing the breakdowns, you can always adjust stuff. If there's one thing that I hope this shows right here, not just like how we do it for our own comics, but the importance of fundamentally having an awareness of where text could go on your comic page if you're the artist and spending time putting it in there just for this simple fact. I have to adjust so much, and I'm able to. It also gives me the flexibility, right, of going like I just said. These guys. Whoops. Let's delete this. We don't need that layer. These like this pin right here at the bottom. They're going to be covered up once we get the balloon in there. So I'm going to have to move them over, and because you don't have to put the text always like you're not the letterer when you're doing artwork for your comic, especially if you're working for somebody else, right? However, in saying that, it's still super important for you to be aware that text is going somewhere, because look what I'm talking about right now. Imagine this is finished artwork and I'm the letterer. I got to come in here and somehow try not to cover up too much art, and just don't put yourself in that situation. Okay, do your best if you can to just possibly anyway do this. Do these subtle things where you can just be aware of a speech balloon so you can put in an idea of how much text is going to go there. Especially if you're working from a script, chances are very high that the dialogue is already set for you. So you have an idea of how much text is going in a spot, and draw around it, okay? If you are, please stop being lazy and not considering where text is going to go, especially if you know there's text in the script that you're working from, okay? It's not just for you, and it's not just to be a cool bro, but at the same time, comics, if it's not just you working on it, is a team book, a team project. Everybody makes everybody else look better, okay? And just by taking a little bit of time, you can make the project look a lot better, just by being aware of just a simple thing like that, okay? All right, let me close all these up. Okay, so we're gonna put the balloons in here. I'm gonna show you how I kind of like deal with the bleeds and stuff. I'm sure there might be simpler ways, but again, I just want to show you guys how I'm doing this. Okay, so okay, we're gonna go in here and I've got my own custom balloons here. So we're gonna do this balloon, and I like this weird curve shape because it's not organic, and a lot of the time it looks wrong. So I'm gonna have to drag this under because I had just like generic text like that, and I just go ahead and I do it to everything. Even when it gets into the gutters here. And I'll show you how we connect this stuff in a second. And you can always correct the stuff, but I like how like it looks bumpy in places. It doesn't look perfect. I find that it just, I don't know. I don't know if it's just like the indie look or whatever, but it just looks a little bit more like, I guess somebody without patience did this, or an untrained letterer lettered this book. You know? And you can always go in there like and click in here. It's like this one went way too big. So you bring these points down. Like I'm trying to keep it pretty like gross, but I don't want it disgustingly gross. Like I want it to at least look like I gave half a shit as opposed to didn't give a shit at all. If that makes sense. Okay, so have all that. Then we need our little tails. So go here. Now the tails, I like just having like a small little like triangle pop out, like just like that. I don't like going with like the long stuff, but sometimes you kind of have to, I guess. But I don't know if this is a manga thing or something, but I just like the small ones. Sometimes, like even with Jessup King, the first time I did the first few pages, I had long swooping lines and stuff, and it looks good. But I don't know. There's something about these ones that I just dig. I don't know why. Seems more cute or something. So this one here, just so you guys can kind of see. I don't know why it's not letting me click it. So I'm going to move this whole, because it's butting up right against the panel, and it doesn't look right there. So I'm going to go here. And we're also going to use, I know there's a better way to do this, but this is quick. I can use the pen and sort of like, I'm going to follow this trail in my mind. Like this, okay? So what that does is, obviously you can see what it's doing, but if you find the two balloons that are the same, let me see if I can find it. Is it this one? Yeah. So what you do is you just put them near each other, and then you just merge them. So Control E, or you can go up to Layer, merge with Layer below. And what it'll do, which is really cool, you see what just happened there? It merged all of that together. So you can still go in there and adjust stuff, and it'll still move things around if that makes sense at all. Okay, so the balloons are pretty much. I'm going to show you the next trick, which you can probably already see. But King Mexiat, the way he talks is, like I said, the bad guy thing. So his dialogue is white, and the balloon is inverted. So if we go up to, you can see it right here. Line color, we're just going to click white, and fill color, we're going to go. Oh wait, did that not work? Whoops. Let me just back that up. I get screwed up on you guys. So if I click it, yeah, here we go, down here. I don't even know if it's showing up on your screen or not. So line color, I wish there was a quicker way to do this. Actually, here, let's add the custom colors. Okay, we're going to go white, and then ground color, we're going to go to black. Add custom. Okay. And it's that bad guy look, and you can't really see it, but I'll try to zoom in. There's a white halo. It looks cool when there's color and stuff on there. You'll see how that goes. And I'm just going to do that with every little thing he says. So line color, is that white? Yep. Ground color, we're going black. Is that black? Yep. Cool. And line color is white. Ground color is black. And we need to make sure that the text color is white. Probably helps if you select it. Sometimes it's hard to see because it's all black, right? There we go. Cool. All right. So the very next step we do is I put it in the text layer, just so you guys can see. So I'll make a new layer, and in this one, all I'm doing, I'm using Photoshop shortcuts right now by accident, is we're just pretty much drawing in the gutters of wherever the text balloons bleed, or the speech balloons, the bubbles, whatever you want to call them. Wherever they bleed, and then we're just going to fill it white. That way it doesn't affect the panels, the panel borders that we've already drawn. And again, I need to spend some time with Manga Studio's tools, because I imagine there's probably a way to do this without having to do all the extra crap that I'm doing. Alright, so just fill it, and presto, everything fits. So hit save. And we're just going to do that with everything. Hey Kevin, welcome back, man. Did you leave? I'm not sure. But anyway, welcome. And that's pretty much it. We're going to do that with everything here. So let's go back to our balloon. Le ballon. My computer's dying. I wonder if you could. Let's. Switch corner. Should make it sharp. So for I haven't decided exactly what we're going to do with the dialogue just yet. But for these ones, should I put them in balloons? I mean, I guess they are saying them. Yeah, I guess. Oh, what the hell. I was going to just put like a white halo around them. I might still put the white halo because it doesn't really matter if they're saying it. Let's just try it. So we're going to put a little, just till we get to the coloring, because then you'll see it. You guys can't really see it right now. I apologize. Just believe me. Just put all your faith and belief in me. Let's do it. Seizure. Hey man, do you make your run bleeds, or is there a custom one available? Do I make my own bleeds? This one was custom, I guess. Like, this isn't for print, so I'm going pretty much to the borders with everything. This is all for web. When I do go to print, I'm not sure how I'm going to tackle that. It's not even something I'm considering, so I haven't even really put the foresight into it. I imagine there'd just be like white space around stuff. I don't know yet. But currently, there is nothing in this project for bleeds. There's a live area, and then the bleed is like the full page. I'll show you what I have. So what I've done is, it's in here somewhere, a gutter guide. I've made a gutter guide, and this pretty much is what I kind of go off of here, right? So when I open up each file, I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in. See this blue line? I don't have the guides in there that Manga Studio has. This is very much like a Photoshop thing. It's just a file, and then I build on top of it. I don't really like the guides. Sometimes they work with like panel rulers and stuff. I just haven't. It's just easier for me to do this currently. So I have my guide, which you can see. So I have the white strip around everything. That would be my bleed, and my trim would literally be the document, as opposed to like on like 11 by 17 Bristol, where you'd have room like paper outside of even this. So this is everything I have. As long as everything's within that trim, it all fits that nice little white border around everything. But sometimes I just go out and I go full bleed, so that's why it looks like that. Okay. Plus on this gutter guide, this will my panels will always be the same width around everything. Even though I know you can do that in Manga Studio, I just haven't spent the time to really worry about it on the project so far. You can add your style to the panels. Okay, thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that because that is something I'm going to check into. The only extra thing I will add, and this is just me, but what you're talking about, and I agree, is the speed. Like Manga Studio makes a lot of the mundane quick, which is great. But the one thing I like, and I'll look into it because it's this isn't a deal breaker, but you see with the panel how I spill out and I don't erase it perfectly here. I like that just because it gives it a little bit more of a rough edge, like it was a hand-drawn thing. When it's shrunk, you don't necessarily notice it at all, but I'm hoping it's kind of like, even with the grit that I put over top of it, like the paper texture, it all leads into kind of like a old school kind of feel, like a bleed on the paper. That's why I do that. But again, I definitely will try what you're saying. We used to do it in Manga Studio 4 all the time. But just because I wanted to have a little bit more of that hands-on control, I guess, I just stopped doing it. But don't get me wrong, if it adds time or saves time, it's 100% worth doing, right? Okay, so let's wrap. Let's keep this going here because we're almost done. Almost done. Okay, then we get to the favorite part of the whole process: line art. That's not at all true. I want to get to the inking as fast as possible. Okay, I'm just gonna use my mouse. It's easier than clicking, or a pen, I mean, instead of clicking with the mouse. How's that look? Yeah, it's whack. Let's bring this up a bit. Come on. Computer's dying. It's funny, if I did all that with a mouse, I notice that it doesn't lag like that, but with the pen it does. It's really weird. Okay, so remember, we can just go ahead and merge all of these and combine with selected layer. It'll make them look nice and together. There we go. See? It got rid of the gaps in between them. Nice. Okay. My page size is my bleed. I guess that's okay for print. Should be. I mean, because there's really only like live area is all that matters, right? Because that'll always get printed. Then there's the bleed, which is great, but then there's also the live area. Wait, it goes live area, trim, then bleed, right? No, bleed, then trim. Man, it's been so long. Live area, then it goes into. I feel like it goes trim, then bleed, does it not? It's been so long here. Let me see here. Comic art boards. What do we got here? Let's see whatever hell I was using before. Great. There's nothing there at all. Let's try the hero code when I was doing that. There we go. Let's see. So this is live. Yeah, okay, so that's how it goes. So check this. That's okay, I was right. So this inside circle is this is right here, the live area. Okay, this is what's most important. Whoops, I'm drawing with that. That's funny. Okay. Oh my god. This is live. This is all that matters, right? This line, right, like all that's in here, this is all the live stuff. This line, the second line, this is where the printers are going to trim. At least I'm pretty sure. Maybe I fucked this up. But this is where the printer is going to go snip and snip and cut. This over here is the bleed. You know what? I'm done. It's been so long. I imagine as long as everything, whatever you need is in here, you're great. Everything inside this stuff here is it's great, but depending on where they could cut here, they could cut way over there. Leave all your important stuff here, then go to here. But you need this as well because sometimes the printer, when it cuts, it's not always going to hit perfect. Sometimes it's going to be a little over, so it's going to spill over even onto this side. Okay, but no matter what, within this line, it'll always be there. So I haven't really had too much of a problem with that whenever anything I've worked on. But at the same time, I guess that's just one of those things where everybody always tells you to be careful of, you know. And you know these guys, you can't have a big bad guy unless they get that moment to give you their 10-minute speech about why they're the best, you know. So that's why I wanted 100% this page to just have as much dialogue as possible. For better or for worse, I always try to think of like, even though I know it's a comic book, I always try to go in there. That's why I say for better or for worse, just thinking of video games. I know that's not the point, but what it does is it lets me. I don't know. I love video games, old retro video games, and by retro I mean like Super Nintendo. And they always did the same stuff, especially with fantasies and RPGs. You always get the bad guy, and the bad guy's got to have some sort of speech. It's just the way they do it. It's like, here's the final boss, and you don't have a choice. You have to listen to them. And they're never, they always tell you some cool stuff, but it's always just about like why they're better than you. You know, makes you just want to beat them up. All right, you serve me now. Is it this one? Yeah. So let's merge it, make them look nice together. All right, now we get to go through here again and do the same stuff. All right, line color is white. Yes. Ground color is black. I wonder why that didn't do that. With the speech bubble on the far left, what goes over the that goes over the border? Will that be cut off of the page? No, not for this because this is for web. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I mean by that, when I like what you see is what you're getting on web. There's no web is different than print. Print you have to worry about things getting cut off and stuff, but web you don't. Unless you're dealing with different resolutions and stuff, that's like the biggest thing. But again, since this is all digital, meant for web, nothing's getting cut off because I can just post it as is. If this was for print, 100% that would be getting cut off. That reminds me of the Watcher when he gives a speech that the end guy when you think this is a comic book? Exactly, man. This isn't a comic book. This is a video game. What if you could just select everything like this? Let's try it. I don't think it's going to work, but no. Yeah, I know. Sorry, seizure. I sympathize with you because I don't know if this is you're just getting into comics or whatever, but page cutoffs, bleeds, trims can all be really super confusing, especially when you're talking about different comic sizes. Like if you're talking about like North American superhero comics, like Marvel DC stuff, it's usually always the paper is 11 by 17, but the live area that will always get seen is 10 by 15. That alone is enough to be like a mind screw. And then if you're getting into manga or European comics and stuff like things, it's the language that you have to try to do your best to remember. So in case you don't, just take a quick look around online, and you'll be able to find pretty easily like continued language that's always the same, so you understand what trim and bleed and that is. Basically, it's just this live area is 100% will always be printed. You'll ever see it, nothing will get cut off. Bleed is what extends out. Bleed is like you can lose some of the bleed and you're okay with that. Try not to always like whatever's important has to stay in the live area. Bleed is like the cool stuff. Like let's say it's Superman punch a Batman and there's rocks and explosions. You can go right up to the trim of the paper. It doesn't even matter. The important detail is always closest to the live area. The trim is where the machines on their best day are going to cut every time cut. But the thing is, because they're going constantly. Sometimes you guys know with like a printer how things get stuck and jammed. Paper is sliding in or however the hell they're doing their printing machines, and sometimes it's just off a little bit. So when it trims, it's not true to what the paper resolution was. It's close, but it won't. Sometimes it's not perfect, right? So that's why bleed, go right to the edge if you want, doesn't matter. But whatever's past the trim, most likely is gone, 100% gone. So it's kind of like the friggin' no turning pass point, and the bleed is like the danger zone. You can have fun in the danger zone, but like some of it might be gone. Live is the safe stuff. Okay. Hope that kind of makes sense. It was a really weird analogy there. Okay, so we got all 3 pages lettered up. It didn't take too long. Well, for you guys, it was probably torture, but just want to document the process anyway for you guys that are interested in doing this yourself. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to start moving into some line art. So next time we stream, might be doing a little bit of line art. Hopefully, we're going to be doing inks. Okay. So enjoy you guys this weekend. I don't know where you guys are in the world, what day it is for you. But enjoy your weekend. Hopefully I'll see you guys during a stream or 2 during the weekend. All cool stuff. Until next time, you guys, keep reading comics, keep making comics. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.